Okay.
Hey everyone, it is Thursday night. This is Edwin and Jose from the H Town Hometown Podcast. We have our guest tonight, Mercedes, who's on the lower quadrant down there.
Hi.
I hope everyone's been having a great week, and they were looking forward to this episode. I know I have. Jose, anything you'd like to share?
Dun 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 dun.
Oh,
What's
you want to
going
do
on,
the
everybody? What's going on, everybody? Man, I'm excited. I'm excited that it's Thursday. It's like the end of the week, right?
Yep.
And we have a guest. We have
Yes.
somebody to talk to, so it's not just us.
Exactly. We've been so eager to talk to her for the last few weeks. To kick off on what you were saying with Thursday, though, I don't know about you, but I feel like I look forward to the podcast because it's Thursday, but I'm like also like it's podcast day. And then when it ends, I'm like, oh, there's only one day left of work week. Then it's the weekend. Like that's how I feel. I'm still a little kid at heart sometimes.
No, no, no.
But
That's good, right?
so further ado, we're gonna introduce Mercedes. I'm gonna go ahead and give you the floor and kind of introduce yourself to the H Town family.
Okay. Well, hi, I'm Mercedes. Um, I don't really know what to say about me. I moved to Hudson in 2016. My husband grew up here. His family's been here for a couple generations at least. And since being here, I fell in love with the town. I fell in love with the people, some of the people. And I started noticing that I grew up in the city. I'm Colombian. I'm a Colombian girl that grew up in the projects, coming from a black family. So moving to Hudson was a culture shock for me. Um, and when the Black Lives Matters and everything else came up and the rest of the world noticed what I noticed, I really wanted to make sure that Hudson was a welcoming community. And so I just started doing some quiet work in the background, talking to people, seeing where people were at with Hudson. And I, it's just such a great town, and there's so much diversity, and there's so much that Hudson can offer that most people don't even know about. So I just started doing some work and getting my voice and my opinion out there. And I'm a pretty opinionated person. So that's about it.
Mhm. Awesome. I'll go ahead and unmute Jose. Jose, for some reason, you're the reason why she's coming up with an echo. It's not her.
Okay.
Oh, look at that.
Why don't
um,
what? Why don't you kick me out? And then
no,
I'll
you know what?
join.
Go ahead. You know what? I think I figured it out. How's that?
Um, I'm good. Nothing has changed on my end. I don't know about you guys.
Yeah, I don't hear
Yep.
an echo.
No echo now.
We're good.
No.
We're good.
Jose, you
Uh,
just have to turn yourself up a little bit. I feel like you're a little bit faint. But
Okay.
thank you for introducing yourself. Like I said before we went live, well, you came very recommended from Sean, the Newtown selectman of Hudson, or one of the selectmen.
yeah.
And we just even our face to face and prior to that, he mentioned you or brought up your name, and he said, he just said great things that you were trying to do in Hudson, and that you were actually, you were trying to make change. And it's like I feel like a lot of people try to, or they say they try to, and there's actually nothing really being done, or
Right.
it's they're trying to, and it's like they're giving the cold shoulder or something like that. So I know, unfortunately, I wasn't able to attend, but I know you did organize a Juneteenth,
I
kind of
did.
trying to make it an annual one.
I'm working on making it an annual one. We did it in less than 5 days, and again, it was one of those things that people like, oh, we should do something, and I'm one of the, like, people talk all the time,
Yeah,
especially on social media. They complain, they like, they talk a lot, and nobody does anything. So I was just like, all right, I'm gonna do something.
yeah,
And I got a couple people with me. We collaborated. We talked. I went and did some footwork. Went knocking on businesses, and we made it happen. It was small, but we had Senator Jamie Eldridge come, Kate Hogan come. We had an African band out of Worcester come
yeah.
with traditional African music. We had a couple, a business owner from Serenity Salon. She came and spoke, Paula. And I put in I just went and spoke to other businesses. So that way for next year, hopefully it will be a townwide thing.
Yeah.
The Hudson Library sponsored us and came and did a children's story. So it was, for less than a week. there were so many
5
people
days.
that were willing and saying like, yes, we want to do this.
That's
And here
awesome.
you are doing it. So yeah,
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome.
No, that's great. I mean, like you said, in under 5 days, all of that got together. I mean, like just think of that. A lot of planning takes months, and so
Yes.
sometimes at least few weeks, and in like 5 days, and from what I read and from the feedback that it looks like the town has been giving, it looks like it was a major success, and if you hopefully Hudson is looking to do that as an annual thing. Do you think that the lack of like participation or maybe volunteers would have made it a little bit bigger, like if you had more volunteers?
Absolutely. But again, when you're trying to do something so fast, like you
Yeah.
said, I had a couple people that, had connections in the town and were able to help sponsor. And we just pretty much promote it on social media.
Yeah.
But I think with more time in and speaking to a lot of people and the few people that did come, I do believe the town would definitely, it would be a big showing. I think about the Black Lives Matter protest that happened last year. There were so many people there. And again, we have this town that's amazing. We have so many people in this town that really do want to do good. They just don't know what or how to do it. And they don't know how to get these things going. So I'm trying to get it done.
Yeah.
And it's like a symbolic act to me, the Juneteenth thing. But it's something that if you do it yearly and people understand the importance of it, it could really change the dynamics of the town.
No, definitely. Please let me know, if you're able to get that going for next year. And, imagine it's probably going to be talked about a lot sooner, like maybe sometime in
Yes.
like January or February.
Mhm.
Reach out to me. I don't know if Michael I know Jose's all the way in Maine. I mean, he may be able to promote from afar, but I would
Yeah,
definitely
come on,
love to be a
man.
part of it, or at least volunteer and like helping with food or giving food or whatever it is. Definitely. And
Well,
Awesome.
we would love to promote for you as well. I know, like you said, it was last minute, and we were honestly told that Thursday
Yeah.
of the day before, of the couple days before. So it was like, we definitely love to see that type of, promotion, acknowledgement, especially that we're all trying to band together regarding this Black Lives Matter movement, along with just, injustice and racial profiling that has been going on way before then.
Yep.
And like you said, I think it's just that the few people who probably brushed it aside or didn't see that in their neighborhood now are seeing it. And I think that's going to promote a lot of change. And, let's just hope that with every year that passes by, it just all gets better, I know
Right.
that I was a part of a couple of Black Lives Matter movements last year when it happened, when the George Floyd situation happened, rest in peace. And I know Marlborough, Massachusetts ended up doing something like that I was a part of. Clinton ended up doing something like that where I was a part of. And I don't think anyone last year did anything for Hudson. I was really hoping that someone did, but either way, it's great to see change and positivity.
We
Jose,
did
anything?
do.
Oh, yeah, yeah,
Oh,
yeah. No, go ahead.
we did do a little thing for the young person that mysteriously died and they still don't know what happened to her in Hopkinton. But again, it was such a small showing.
Yes,
that
I
was
know that
that
we.
that
Go
was
ahead.
recently, right? I'm sorry.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yep.
That
because
was
remember we
not
touched on it on one of our episodes, and we
lightly. Yep.
lightly because we didn't want. We also did not want to discuss further because out of respect to the families. It
Um,
wasn't. We didn't know the person. It wasn't our place, but we also wanted to provide acknowledgement as to everyone just needs to do a lot better on their part, and just be nicer to people. And you know, just if you see something that's wrong, speak up.
right. And I think, Hudson, when I moved here, and like I said, it was a culture shock for me. I just like all I saw is just people that are not like me at all. And the more I got to know the town and the more my husband showed me the town, I realized that there is such a diverse community and a loving community. And just because, you know, a lot of people don't like the word ignorant, but just because people are ignorant of what's happening outside of their town doesn't mean they don't care. It's just they don't realize it. They don't know what to do. And I feel like Hudson is divided in half. You
Yeah.
have this huge Portuguese community. My husband grew up and he's Mexican, and I'm like, there's two guys on the podcast and they're not white. And he's like, really? I didn't know that. I thought I was the only, like, you know, Latino person in town. I was like, well, look
Yeah.
at that. You know, I mean, just that fact that people don't even realize. And I'm walking
Yeah.
down the street or I'm doing these Juneteenth events, or I went to the Black Lives Matter protest and I didn't see a sea of white faces. I saw a diverse sea of faces, which means that our town needs to do better and needs to do more and needs to make sure that those voices are up front and center. And if doing things like Juneteenth can get everybody in town to see that, you know, they're just them and their friends in their backyard, that's not Hudson. It's so much more than that. And we want to make sure that Hudson is a place that people want to come into and want to be here and give their business and live here and show us their rich culture. Then that's what I'm going to do to make it happen.
Definitely, I agree. I know that Jose and I can kind of attest to this, where I know when we were younger, you used the word ignorance, and I think that's one of the words that we used a lot when we were younger in our teens, and you know, not just with our like fellow students and you know friends, but everyone around the town. We felt that there was a certain way that Hispanic, Black, Latino, Indian, Muslim, you know, anyone who basically was not Portuguese or was not white or Caucasian were looked at in a certain way. And it's like, I think we touched this on one of our podcasts as well. It's like we kind of formed our clique without having to form our clique. It was kind of like the Hispanics kind of kept together because we were the ones that, you know, got free lunches. We were the ones that, you know, that either didn't, not myself, but you know, friends that I had didn't speak the language very well.
Yeah.
Right there. Or you know, just a different upbringing, and it was a lot easier to relate to versus to, you know, my fellow Portuguese and Caucasian. Which nothing against them, because I had like I had a diverse group of friends. I had friends that were Portuguese, that were white, Italian, Michael, that were you know, Latino. Yeah, Michael's not here either. I'm just gonna throw that out. He's late. That were white, you know, that were Latino, that were Puerto Rican like myself, even though I think I was like the only Puerto Rican in town. A lot of Guatemalan, a lot of Mexican, Colombian, a Salvadorian, all that. And I think that we just kind of formed a bond that way. Now, there was a lot of friends that Jose will attest as well, that we had that were on our side as well, that saw that we were either being mistreated or that we weren't given like a fairness. And at the same time, I think because of that, our ignorance, now I'm pointing to us, our ignorance, we were kind of like, all right, we're being treated this way. Let's act this way then. And it was kind of like subconsciously we were acting this way. So we were giving them a reason to kind of judge us without even giving them the reason in the beginning.
Right.
Could you agree to that, Jose?
Yeah, yeah, no, for sure.
Did I get too
I
deep for
mean,
you?
yeah, no, yeah, a little bit, because I'm going back, right? Like I'm trying to basically dissect everything you're saying, relating
Yeah.
it to our younger days. The conversation that we had with Sean not too long ago when we met up with him, you know, and just kind of like running him through those years where we felt that, like, you know, it was, yeah, we were looked at differently. Um and you know, to have this conversation here openly with somebody, and also kind of like make it more realistic, have a conversation with the town, right? Like we're having this conversation with our community. Shout out to
Right.
Judy, shout out to Louis, shout out to A1 and Sean, shout out to everybody watching. um but yeah, I so it is an honor, you know, it's a blessing really, because I
Definitely.
feel like you were talking, or you were saying earlier, now we get to live in a time where you can make a difference, you know, and really is a matter of perspective too, you know.
Yeah.
So thank you to Mercedes for everything you're
Definitely.
doing. um and I agree with you. I Why do you think? Why do you think? So is it just ignorance? I feel like if anything, let's dive a little deeper, right? Like
Yeah, definitely.
let's try to understand. And let's say for our town, right? It's a like originally a Portuguese
Portuguese
like,
settlement, I think.
right? Is that what
Yeah,
it is?
yeah.
And
It
from
started off as a Portuguese settlement, and they ended up becoming all the workers in the factories and stuff.
Okay. And since then, like even from what I can remember, I remember my parents moving to Hudson. They brought us to Hudson because it was it was better. It had a more safe environment back in
Yes.
the day, and that was like early 2000s, right? Um, but everything, I mean, yeah, it was selected. I think I could count maybe in one hand the amount of kids in my classroom that were similar to my skin tone, and then the rest was, um, white.
Like me.
And I feel like there's no fault. Like there's nobody to fault for that in the sense of like just life happening. Maybe Hudson wasn't had not been exposed to a more diverse community, but I feel like over time the community did grow that was outside the Portuguese, right? Culture, and now we are in a place where we need to acknowledge, but why don't we, why haven't we, or are we, what else can we do?
I
um
think, you know, our history, our society has told us we don't talk about this. Even I come from a very cultural family. I mean, I'm white passing, but I'm Colombian, and I grew up in a black family.
mhm,
And you didn't, for us, we talked about the racism and things going on, and we celebrated a lot of black voices. But outside of that, you didn't talk about your racist next door neighbor. You didn't talk about those
mhm,
microaggressions. And like you were saying, Edwin, earlier, you start doing systemic racism within yourself. You internalize it and you don't even realize it. So we're now in an age where it was ignorance, but it was ignorance on the everybody's part unless it was specifically happening to you. And even then, a lot of times you joke around about it, like, bro, you're just using the race card. You're doing this, you're doing that. And it's like, no, it's really happening. Like, these are jokes we're making to make light of it. And now there's no more jokes. It is just,
Mhm.
this is wrong, period. There's nothing else that needs to be said. On a Facebook thing, somebody asked on a mom's group, of course, in social media, said, if we said a strong, educated black woman to describe the new person coming into our job, what's wrong with that? We're like, it's racist. That's appalling, period. And they're like, no, 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 we can't say that. That's being politically correct. It's like, no, there is no buts. There is no level of like, this isn't that racist. It's just a little bit. Oh, and we're not down south, y'all, so it's okay. It's just, it is what it is. And we now have, because of Black Lives Matter, because of social media, because everybody's seeing this is really happening, your experiences in school, realizing your friends realizing now there's a platform for everybody to speak up and to learn, and for us to learn together. I'm still learning. I learn every day things that I'm doing, like, whoa, hold up, let me like rethink this, because I don't even realize that, this is how I was brought up. I didn't realize that was wrong, and it's wrong. So
I agree. I definitely agree. And I think also kind of that you were in the beginning that you were talking how you grew up in a diverse family and you talked about it. And I think where it comes down to too, like I had these sort of conversations with my mother and kind of with my stepfather. He's Polish Italian, so he wasn't able to touch on it. And also, you see my skin color. I'm not as dark, but I do speak Spanish, and I have my mother whose primary language was Spanish. So whenever I would be around, what do you think I'm speaking? I'm speaking Spanish. I'm not speaking English. And I feel like when it comes to other families, which is something that we have to change from day one, is that Caucasian or white or these other families, they don't speak this way to their children. They don't have to because there's nothing racially being profiled to their children unless they have a darker melanin. They're from the Azores or something like that. Where I'm trying to relate to Portuguese, then they're going to be criticized by other people, like, oh, look at them, all these subtle racism. But I feel like even then, Italian, white, Irish, it doesn't matter. I feel like you have to have this conversation with your children at a certain point. Now, I'm not saying like have it with them when they're 3 years old, but there are some people that actually start doing that conversation when their child is 3 to 4 years old, because you just never know. But that's what I think, could be a step in the right direction, is that everyone needs to talk about it. And I feel like it will never happen, but it needs to be extremely emphasized in school, where most children are spending most of their day, where they're going to be hanging out with their friends. They're going to be subject to bullying, to racism alone from the children, even though it's not racist to them. These your mama jokes, these like, these black jokes, things like that.
Yeah.
It has to be touched and it has to be emphasized in school, and that's where it really starts, other than in the home. That's just one thing that I think, but I definitely probably agree with that.
Well, and I think that's where Hudson, we need to do more and make those changes. Like right now, we have somebody on the school committee, Molly McKenzie. She just got elected in. We have Sean Sadowski, that's now on the select board. We have Judy Cog. I can never say your last name, Judy, so it's just Judy. Yeah, see? That's now on the finance board. There's people that have the voices now to make the changes that need to be made from within. Like in the school, demanding that we make sure that there is not just anti-bullying going on, but anti-racism going on, education being done, making sure that our history books and what we're teaching our children is the real history of America, making sure that our town is doing everything they can to bring in a diverse pool of applicants. Simple things like that. Oh, look, you got it right.
Yeah.
And that's where change happens. It's with the community members. It's not just going on Facebook and complaining all day long on your local town group page. Mm-hmm. It's doing something about it, or getting into an argument with that one person that isn't involved in the town anyways. It's doing something about it.
Yeah. Is that who's?
That's Molly. So she's on the school committee.
Oh, awesome.
And she does a lot of work with anti-racism. Her and I have been collaborating, working together, trying to do things behind the scenes to make sure this town is a safe place,
yes,
for us, and welcome and make sure that your experiences don't happen to our kids.
Yes. And then I have a kind of a follow-up for you, unless, Jose, you had something.
No, I was just going to say shout out to Molly, and that's awesome that you guys are working, and would love to have an extended conversation with her, with you, and
yeah, definitely.
Because I feel like that's also a conversation of its own, right? Like the school system, the school education, the school board, and I know that subject itself has come up in the conversations that Sean has had with us as well, and kind of like you were saying, Mercedes, these changes start from inside out, right? And so key select people are gonna be. You hear my little ones?
Yeah. Gotta get them to bed by 6.
Oh yeah, summertime.
Give them melatonin.
It's different up in Maine.
Yeah, he's my little one. He's just hanging out. He's here for moral support, to be honest with you.
Good.
But yeah, select people, just key people in position to be able to make these changes, and just hoping that everybody's on board and on the same page as far as we want, progress, right? We want to steer the ship in the right direction where, it's love and grace for everybody and everybody can be included. So shout out to Molly. That's all I was going to say.
And just to add to that before I ask my follow-up, Molly, we would love to have you on as well. If you ever want to start up a conversation, or we can have you and Mercedes back on at a later time.
Yeah.
Totally up to you. But I'm just going to throw that invite out there. My follow-up was, what was it? Mercedes and I were Facebook enemies until we got
Wow.
We were.
I think people miss out on the person. That's awesome. Because I don't want to keep going into different alleys and stuff. I'm gonna ask my follow-up, but I've
Yeah.
had during the last 2 years with the whole Black Lives Matter movement, I've had conversations, and with our last president and stuff, I've had conversations with really good friends of mine where we were at opposing views, and it was like almost where we were no longer going to be friends. But then I looked at it and it says, you're allowed to have your opinion. You're completely allowed to have your opinion. That's not, just like I'm allowed to have my opinion. And that shouldn't base my friendship or, how I know you, unless it's like the evil thing you're doing. But
Right.
my follow up was, do you think that there's certain people that probably um, don't speak up, or they don't attend these rallies, or they don't advocate because of sense of pride, and at the fact that their co neighbor, or their peer is also looking at them, and now they're judging them, saying, "Oh, now you're doing this for them," or you know what I mean? Like, I feel like it's a lot of sense of pride as well that people do not help.
I I think it's a sense of pride, and I think there's a sense of truly not understanding. And I'm going to circle back to what Judy said. When we were Facebook keyboard warriors arguing from one side to the other, very polar opposites politically speaking, it wasn't that she didn't believe that we should have equitable rights, that she didn't believe that Black people were being racially profiled, but she didn't understand it at the level I did. And having those conversations through a keyboard, not in person, not personal conversations, caused us not to understand each other. When we decided to drop that and really speak as people, and like you said with your friend, you get to know somebody as a person. If their moral value is, I don't like Black people, I'm racist. I mean, there's certain things you could disagree about what kind of toppings to put on your pizza. There is no disagreement about racism or sexual harassment or any kind of ism.
Yes.
But understanding why it's so hard, it's a hard invisible work to understand why a person feels that way, the way they do. And most of the time it isn't because they have hate in their heart, it's because they do not understand. And trying to get them to understand an experience that they didn't even see and realize exist, that's hard work. And that's the work that needs to get done. And that's the invisible work that I like to say that you can't do on social media. You can't do by like reading, like, here's a book, read something. You need to do it in person. You have to make those personal connections. So kudos to you for not dropping those friends, because there's some people I wanted to drop. I'm just like, I can't deal. I can't deal with you. It's too much. But the ones that I truly cared about was like, all right, let's have this conversation, because where are you coming at? Because you know me and I know you. So there's something amiss here, because I know you don't have hate in your heart. And if you do, I've just been a bad judge of character and you need to go.
Exactly. And that's where I think I stepped back and kind of took a step back and looked at, listen, they may not be my best friend or anything like that, but like, we're acquaintance friends, and they're coming a certain way. It's not that I see hate in their heart; it's that they're probably misinformed, or they have their own opinion, which is totally fine. And I'm not saying about the racism, because I'm not friends with anyone who is racist. That does not enter my circle. That does not enter anything. But on opposing views, whether it's political or how certain people are being treated, I think it's just an education, and it's also letting your wall to be brought down so that you can understand where they're coming from, and you have your own opinions. Though you can always still disagree with them, but now you understand where they're coming from. Whereas you're allowed to voice your opinion from where you're coming from, and hoping that they reciprocate that same respect and letting down their wall. That's how I believe it. While you were talking, though, I had like a funny idea. I don't know how we would be able to make it happen or anything like that, but I feel like maybe the town could do something where it's like meet your neighbor type thing, whereas like anyone who wants to join this type of event, and we wouldn't even call it a rally, it would be an event, and it's kind of meet your neighbor, and it's everyone come out and meet someone that you don't know in your town.
But how do you get the people? I mean, like, let's just be real here. There's cultural differences. Would either of your families, because I know what my family wouldn't go to something like that. It would be all the white neighbors. and they all know each other. So try to get the
Yeah,
Portuguese community. Try to get there's Haitian families that live here, Black families that live here,
yeah,
Latino families that live here. How do you get them to come to the table and meet their neighbor when they don't feel safe to do
correct.
that? Like they had a meet your cop day. I don't know any of my friends that was going to walk into 641 and go like shake hands with the local cop and have a coffee with them.
Yeah,
So how do you do that?
I think Jose and I kind of talked about that a few episodes ago with Sean. Actually, I think that was the exact same words we used. No, like you said, it's invisible work. It's hard work that needs to be done on both sides. Because exactly like you said, how are we going to make Latinos, Black, Haitian, Muslim, Indian, and anyone? How are we going to make them feel safe to go down and speak with their fellow neighbor? How you said maybe Caucasian, and they in their heart they feel that they're being judged for some reason. It is a difficult task. But like you said, there's just everyone has to work. We have to work at it,
Right.
finding
Exactly.
common ground, finding ways that we could be able to do something like that.
Lots of
Um,
parties, lots of parties,
lots of parties, lots of
lots
Spanish
of
cookouts.
gatherings, lots of
You
social
know,
gatherings.
I was telling my husband the other day that I used to when I lived out in Western Mass in like the projects of Holyoke and Springfield, and I used to always want to move to the nice like white neighborhood as we would call it, up in the
Yeah,
Highlands. And we finally did, and we missed like there's no block parties. And in Hudson, I'm
No.
like, how are there like there like the Juneteenth thing? I was just like, this should be a regular thing. Why is there not like a Juneteenth parade? Why is there not like Puerto Rican Day?
hmm
Like there's no block parties. There's nothing like at least in the city you have those parties, those gatherings.
yeah,
Like you're in a city, and I knew my neighbors better than I do in a small town. And growing up, I thought being in a small town, it's a small town atmosphere. Everybody knows everybody. They know everybody's gossip, but they don't really seem to know.
yeah.
It's not that community. So how do you bring that like city feel, that community in? Like block parties were all summer long. People are out. Like COVID, you're still
Yeah.
outside all summer long, hanging out with your friends. That doesn't happen out here.
I
I
can't.
I
Yeah, go
I
ahead.
want to tackle this one real quick because I feel like for me, Mercedes, right? Like I feel the same way you feel. Like man, like all these social or like personal or like just growth of people right over a community, and we can talk about it and it can apply to any other community, and when they could be talking about it we can talk about them, but let's talk about us, right? And let's say right now Judy's on, Sean is on, right? These are very key people to the community, to Hudson, the community of Hudson, because that's why we're really
Yeah.
based on, right? Or like that's what makes it personal, right? Like, Sean, do you feel, and I know you're listening, like, do you feel or do you think there's a sense of community at all? Has there ever been, or when did we let go of that? And and let's say Mercedes, you feel like the city is one thing, but what I'm understanding is that you also feel like Hudson doesn't have a sense of community, or there you don't get that sense of community or that feeling of community. So forget about the city, forget about anywhere else, right? Like let's just talk about Hudson.
Mhm.
Or are we wrong, right? Are we wrong to feel that there is no sense of community? And now we're calling out to Sean, we're calling out to Judy, and this is out of love, right? I'm calling out to my classmates, I'm calling out to my school peers, everybody I went to school with, right? Everybody that I know. And specifically, I'm talking to my white friends, and I'll
Yeah,
say
Jose.
white out of love, like not out of anything, to
Yep.
know that
Yep.
that I'm a brownie, right? Like I'm a brownie to somebody who's white, right? Like my wife is white. So in regards to like, there's no harm in all these words. It's out of love and grace. Thank you, buddy. His shirt is clean. um you know like we want to know like what's really real, what's really happening out there. And obviously over the past 2 years or year and a half, COVID happened. So it's been a little off, right? But could we possibly be talking a fresh start? Is there a desire for people that want this sense of community? Because I feel like that's what I'm for. And I know, obviously I can't
Yeah.
speak for anybody else, but I think that's always been my one of my passion of anything. What drives me a community, and how can we make that happen. um
So he did answer with his opinion. There is a disconnect. I would like to see more events to bring people together, which I agree. I wanted to also touch. So there is a few towns away where I currently live in Clinton, Mass, where they actually they have block parties yearly. They didn't have it for the last 2 years because of COVID, which is a separate beast. But they did have block parties, and today was actually the very first one that they did, or block dances.
Oh,
They actually
nice.
just blocked
Tonight,
off the whole street.
tonight,
Tonight. I actually wanted
get
to
out of
attend it,
town.
but
Dun, dun, dun,
I'm doing my thing right now. So hopefully they're doing it all weekend, and I'll be able to join tomorrow or attend one tomorrow or Saturday. But I know that I've lived here for 8 years, and they've always had one that I've lived here. It's always been a block event where everyone from the town comes out. Like you said, it's a small town, so everyone kind of knows each other's gossip, and they kind of know each other. But you run into each other almost every week at the grocery store when you guys go.
Right.
You know what I mean? So, but it's an awesome way to meet your town. And I also wanted to add, back in the day, now I'm talking when I was like yay high, little, toddler to maybe even just a kid. They used to do like car shows, and they actually used to have like a Hudson parade here. They used to, because they used to come in the front of my house, and they would shut down the whole street, and they would walk through, and that's kind of how you met your neighbor as well, or you kind of all socially gathered. And I don't remember when that stopped. I know that it must have stopped a few years after that, so I could have been like 7, 8, 9, or 10. But I haven't seen something like that in 20 years, basically. That would be cool to bring something like that back. I know that we've also kind of gave suggestions about like a cultural day, or maybe like a food event where everyone comes out, you kind of display your food, something like that. It's all ideas and it's all words, but hopefully it's something that we could put together and implement and make town a better way to, a better way to meet everyone, a better way to understand, to see the diverseness. Because like you said, it's not just the Caucasian or white Americans. It's Latinos, it's Jamaican, it's Asian, Indian. I know there's a lot of Indian family in Hudson.
Hey, Edwin. Who is Can you hit that comment? There's a comment here on YouTube, coming in from YouTube. Is that
I think that's Molly
Molly?
still. Yeah.
Is that her?
Oh yeah. So she had said, as a relatively new resident of Hudson, I haven't felt the community sadly. Now I don't know how recent where the new is. I know that a lot of things were on pause because of COVID for the last year and a half plus. But at the same time, there is a reason why we're going through and we're saying this. A lot of people don't feel there's a sense of community, and I feel like that's one of the changes that needs to happen as well.
Yeah, and I see like Judy even talks about the few things that does happen in Hudson. And my husband's sitting next to me, so like I said, his family has been here since like, I don't know, like forever, like 3 generations in. I said in the 60s they used to have tennis court dances over at the tennis courts, and we have like the Hudson Fest, the Christmas stroll. There's that Pumpkin Fest.
Hudson Fest, Pumpkin Fest. Yeah.
But like Molly was saying, this is why we're doing this. Like things like, because we want to do, like you said, maybe doing a cultural event. I think it was your wife, Jeanette, that said that. Do a cultural event. Let's do something to get those everybody out and doing something. They have a bear fest. But then again, it's we want to do something that's going to be appealing to all of the residents.
Yeah.
Like the Christmas stroll or the downtown trick-or-treating, a lot of that's geared towards just people with young kids.
Yeah.
And it's the same people. I mean, I see all the same moms, all the same families.
Right.
So,
and I feel like that itself is like a Hudson culture. So there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like, let's say the Pumpkin Fest, I never went to one. Growing up, I felt like that was something that my friends did. Like I felt like going to one of those events, I felt out of place. So even if I went, it would just be to see my friends, not because I necessarily, maybe I was too young, so like I don't want to trash the event or the not at all. But what I'm saying is like besides that, there should be something more that, like you said,
Yeah.
Mercedes, that includes more. That is not just the punk. Like we have that already. Let's have something
Yeah.
else. So in a more realistic conversation, right? I know we talked to Sean about some future plans and events or
Yeah.
gatherings. Um, like, are you? What else is happening? Are you planning anything that you're working on now? But or have you
So,
thought of it? Have you thought of anything that like you think would work, or like in a maybe in a dream world? Like, what does this look like for you? Oh,
so I'm going to be working on the Juneteenth event much sooner.
right.
I do have some medical stuff that's coming up that's pretty big. So
Mm,
things are kind of moving slowly right now. But the Juneteenth, I'm really trying to. I hope to get the whole town involved, which I think will bring out a lot of people because it was, it was a good within a week. If I can get 30 to 40 people to come, I think if I have 8 months, I can get the whole town on it.
correct. Yeah.
I also know the Armory project is going on, and the Hudson Public Library did come, and I was able to speak to the head of the Hudson Library Board and the director, and he's also on the Armory Project Board, which is going to be a cultural center. So him and I are having conversations here and there about what can we do in this cultural center to make sure that there are, like arts events, dance events, things that are bringing the entire culture. It's a cultural center. So I think things like that, and it takes time. There's a lot of, again, that work that's done behind the scenes that it's not going to happen tomorrow or next week, maybe next year. Whenever the Armory project gets up, we start recruiting, making sure that there are, say there's African drum dancing going on, there's Haitian dance, Flag Day happening there, in the schools, working with Molly, working with Sean to see, like just brainstorming with them, like
Yeah.
what is it that the town can do, where are their finances. There's so much politics involved, and I think
Yes.
people forget that it's not just let's do this. You have to get
Yeah.
the approval, and you have to
Yes.
get the approval from people that might say I don't like this idea because I'm still stuck in the way Hudson was years ago. And that's why getting the young blood in there, getting new voices, even just doing that work is again going to take time, but that's how we're going to make these changes. So maybe next year it's just Juneteenth, making it a town-wide event where the town actually hosts it and sponsors it, and every business. I spoke to Nick, the manager over at Horseshoe Pub, and he and I talked about having a menu for Juneteenth, a
That's
special
awesome.
Juneteenth menu. So
Yeah.
everybody that goes to Juneteenth, and then going over to the rail trail and the people that own that, and to, the Medusa Brewing Company, and making
Yes.
sure little things like that add up. When they say, here's a Juneteenth event, and then when you're done at the festival, come to our restaurant, and we have this entire amazing special menu.
Yeah.
I was even talking about putting jollof rice because I looked up the recipe and we tried making it. Like stuff like
I've
that.
made it before.
That's, you know, it's little stuff like that, or block parties, having different kinds
Yeah.
of dance music. If you did
Yeah.
the old car shows, let's just add some, it doesn't have to be, you could do old car, different type of car shows. I don't know how
Yeah.
I would say it, lowriders and music and kind of stuff
Yes.
like that. Just adding to what's already been done to entice the people that love Hudson the way it was, but brings all the new people or the people that just didn't like it, didn't feel comfortable going to Pumpkin Fest. Let's change it up.
Yeah. No, I definitely agree. And before I compare Hudson to kind of I don't know if now this is more of a question for Sean and those of Hudson that can actually do a change in Hudson. I feel like there's a lot of parks in Hudson where I don't know if it's because it's private, but I feel like they could hold events like that. Like for instance, I'm displaying the comment right here. This is true. Every Thursday, this has been every year except for the last couple of years. They always do a movie night for the children, and they do it in the center of the park in Clinton, where there's a waterfall. And they put a big inflatable screen, and you're allowed to bring your chairs and you're allowed to sit down, bring food and things like that. They bring a hot dog vendor and some food vendors, and they all make it a good time. Like I feel like Hudson could adopt those exact same events or even something better. And I just feel like either there's a sense of break there, or something's not adding up correctly as to like why it's not happening. But like I said, Clinton only has like one or two parks, and I see this in Marlboro as well. You know, it's a city, but I see it in other surrounding towns. So it's kind of like, not to piggyback or copy another town, but like, why can't it be done? And like I said, I'm not asking you per se. This is more for you know, all the selectmen, not just Sean, because I don't want to keep picking on him. And anyone in the town that has some sort of say. Like I feel like there should be something like that that gets brought together. I know that many towns, many cities around Massachusetts all do this, and I feel like I've never seen that in Hudson. But you know, we're very prideful of our Pumpkin Fest or Hudson Fest, but it's not the same thing. Is that
right?
I'm getting at.
So the
Shout
comments
out.
are coming in.
Yeah, those are good. I was gonna say shout
Yeah,
out
let
to
me
Judy.
so
Go ahead,
let's see.
Mercedes.
Well, Jose says, what kind of events do people have? Yeah, see, Waltham does the same thing. Was just thinking Hudson should do the same. Like, need to
Mercedes,
work.
I heard, I saw
What's the next?
somewhere, I think, was it today or yesterday? I don't know, but in one of the Hudson pages, um, they said they should do a battle of the bands between the two beaches of Marlboro and Hudson,
Oh,
as an event or as something. But
That's kind of cool.
I thought of that, and we were just
that would
thinking of
be
events
that'd be
that we
pretty
could
cool.
do.
That'd be pretty cool, actually.
So over at Wood Park, Molly just mentioned Wood Park. They do have concert nights. It's just not music. You know, it's just geared towards. So I think one of the biggest issues with Hudson is the things that are being brought to the town and the things that are being promoted are the older voices. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm not able. I don't go to the town meetings. I just because children being, you know, having a young family. So I think,
Yeah.
you know, when the Park and Rec looks at what is it we're going to put our money at, and if all the older, I don't want to say, I mean, I'm older. I'm 47. But all the residents that are saying we want this and we want that, they're going to do that. Instead of, so we need to mobilize these people. Like, please stop complaining on the Hudson Moms page about that you need a park or you need this.
Yeah.
Go and vote. Like,
Yeah.
go do something. Mobilize. I was able to get Juneteenth done in a week. If you want to get these concerts and you don't like the music they're playing, then go do something about it. And I think that's really what it is there is stuff happening, but it's not geared towards, it's just not bringing in the crowd that we're talking about. It's bringing in my husband's mother who, you know, just, you know, love her to death, but you know, it's different. So we just gotta mobilize, like Molly said earlier.
I completely agree, and I think it's kind of funny. Also, like I'll add a comment to that. Like our generation, really, mine and Jose's, is the one that really started the social media era. The one that really started the digital era, and it's like nobody gets on and does anything about it. And it's like even the younger ones after us that are always on their phone and stuff like that. If you want to see change, and like you said, you have a voice. If you live in Hudson, I would love to go down there, but I don't live in Hudson. They won't hear my voice. But this is why I try to spread it through the podcast, through spreading, through promoting, and things like that. I mean, believe me, if I lived there, I'd be the first person down there. Like I haven't seen much that Clinton isn't doing right, so I haven't really checked them out. But with Hudson, I always felt like there was just a sense of it's geared towards the families that have been there for generations and generations and generations. And the people that are new coming in, I feel like they don't last because they're, like you said, they're coming from a city or they're coming from a town that had a sense of community, and they're just like, oh, this town is boring. Like I feel nothing for it. They have a great school system. They have some nice parks. Oh, look, they're redoing the downtown. That's cool. But other than that, it's not attracting the type crowd, like you said. So they're leaving. They're staying here for 3, 4, 5 years. I mean,
like, you're not here. Jose's not here. You know, I'm trying to make sure Molly stays. You know, my husband's here because he just, you know, he's just a homie. He loves his town. He loves being close to his family. But like we need to keep these families here,
Yes.
and even my husband, like when I speak to him, he went to Hudson Catholic, and we might know he might know everybody. I mean, I go downtown and his mother will tell me like, oh, I heard you were over getting cheese, doing this, doing that. I was like, how do you know what I'm doing? Because the whole town knows his family,
Yeah.
but then they don't really know us. Like even Sean and I talked about this at one point when we were actually talking about racial issues online. And I was like, Sean, you don't know Jonathan and me now. You know him when he was a kid bussing tables at Horseshoe Pub. Like let's get to know us now and
Yeah.
become a community. And he stepped up. He was like, yep, I want to do the work. And he shows up and he's at these conversations. The same with Judy. Judy knows my husband. Judy knows his family very well. And it's like, and then here we were having a disconnect. So again, it's just, the town needs to embrace everybody. But I think these old comers, like my husband and Sean and Judy's, like people that have been here for a long time, I don't think it's that they don't want to be together. It's just, again, that disconnect. How do you do that? So let's
Yeah.
get an event to get everybody downtown and talking, and they'll realize that like the old timers that have been here for generations really don't mind this young blood coming in.
Yeah.
They just like to complain because I complain now about like new music. It's just what you do when you get older. You drink the juice and you're done. Like I drank the Kool-Aid, so that's how we talk now.
No, I completely agree. I'm only 30 and I find myself complaining about the new music. Um, but yeah, I agree with my wife right there. I feel like Hudson is a town of older families, and like you said, to get the new young blood. But even then, like the other part to that is the young blood have to do a better job of voicing.
Yes.
Because I'm gonna go ahead and put this back up because Judy nailed it right on the head. It's easier for some to take 30 seconds to speak your views on social media than actually go and do work. They feel gratified by putting it on social media because it'll get a chain reaction with a bunch of people commenting and things like that, and it might go viral. But it's like, okay, that's going to go viral only to a point. Why not go and do something? And like I said, if you live in Hudson and you have a way to make a change, go ahead and do it. Like as far as I can go is the front of town hall. I can't go in with you. Like Jose can't go. You know what I mean? And I'd love to be able to promote or make the change, but we're doing the best that we can by promoting a podcast or by commenting, by telling our friends that live in Hudson, like, hey, if you're looking to do this, go head down. Now, what I say might go in one ear and out the other, but at least I'm trying to provide you the information.
But they are like, I mean, Molly is
Mm-hmm.
in her 30s. She's in her 30s. Ricky Gellin went up to, I mean, regardless of whether Ricky Gellin and then the other young gentleman that went on, both young people that, are trying to get involved. So we want to make sure we keep them involved.
Yes.
We keep them staying here. Keep the Rickies, keep I cannot remember his name, and I feel horrible for that. But he ran as well for the select board.
Yeah, didn't he just join like the finance committee or something like that? Because
Judy just got on the finance committee, so she would know. And
okay.
Molly, I think, remembers. I can't remember his name. Cena Abbott. There you go. There's 3 young people right there that got involved. One is on a committee now. If Cena's on the finance board, then there you go. So we have the blood in here. I just think, again, we need to make sure that we support them and make sure that they have the voices and their voices are heard and not drowned out by the older voices.
Agreed. I would definitely agree with that. Jose, you've been quiet.
Well, accountability. I'm just listening, dissecting everything. I think it's always like the same thing. We can go around in circles, and because I have these conversations, and at the end, you wonder, right? The question is always like how, but like how do we do it? Like we understand what the problem is, maybe we understand why, but how do we do it? And so it is pretty special to hear, that like people like Molly, like you're saying, right? Like this Ricky and the other gentleman, that people that were willing to take the initiative, And then my question, or my next question is, now what? Like, what do we do now? And I'm glad that Sean is listening, one, and that he's somebody who has a say, people like Molly too. um and my question is, again, like, what do we do next? So what do you think is a next move, or if there's anything that we could pay attention to or focus on, what would it be in your,
Well,
coming from your
I think
perspective?
me doing the Juneteenth thing is the next step. Me, and whether it's just me doing it and trying to get other people to come, but me being on here, I mean,
Hmm.
get it asking, like I tried. I like threw it all over on every Facebook page that I could and
Yeah,
telling people about it, talking to the Hudson Library. They're willing to do, whatever events they can. And it's just, again, it's doing the work. Like, I'm going to be promoting Juneteenth. I'm going to be talking to the Hudson Library, trying to see if they could do more events for us and doing that. It's just sometimes, life gets in the way. So the more people I
Yeah.
can have to support me and doing that, and the more, like, the more voices. So it's just doing that, like, just getting the word out, keep talking about it, keep saying, like, this change needs to
yeah,
happen, and, like, take the conversation off Facebook, off social media, and let's do something together. Even if you don't agree with what I'm doing, you agree that you want this town to be great. So let's
yeah.
make this town great. I hate that. Now I sound like, oh my God. Okay, let's not use the word great. Um, but
No,
you know
I
what I'm
agree.
saying? Like, so those are, for me, those are my next steps. That, because I know my husband and I are here for the long haul,
Hmm.
unless we win the lottery. So, we're here for the long haul. So I'm going to make sure that this town is the town that I am proud to raise my girls in.
Yeah,
And that I walk down the street and I don't feel like I am in a cloud of whiteness. And I feel I miss my home. And
yeah,
I
yeah.
can't get to my home that often enough. So I need to make this my home now. And making this my home means it needs to be culturally diverse. So I'm going to be doing Juneteenth. I'm going to be working with other people. I'm going to continue the conversations with the Mollys and the Shawns and the Judys and the Rickies and making sure they get involved.
I completely agree, and I think one of the things that I love for you that you just touched on is you love to raise your children in a place that you call home, and not even just that. Like, as I said, me and Jose and I, we lived there for the longest time, but when it was time for us as adults to leave, we had to leave. You know what I mean? Like, the prices, not just not just complaining about like the cost and stuff, but like being able to keep families there for longer generations is also a goal as well. Like, I feel like a lot of families live there or they raise their children and then they all leave because it's either too expensive or there's no sense of community or home. And now more families move in, which is great. But I feel like it would be great for Jose and I to have continued living there and feeling that we had a sense of purpose there.
Mm.
And, unfortunately not, but it all starts with people like you. It all starts with people that join the select board, like Sean. Like, I love that he just emailed the Parks Department to ask about movie night and different music. Like, this is the
Yep.
conversations. We have our motto. We always say, "Let's talk about it." There's a reason we talk about it. It's to advocate and lend our voices to people so that you never know. Someone listening could be like, I feel the same thing. Let me go ahead and email so and so, and just from one word, it travels far. So,
Exactly.
uh,
What kind of concerts would you like to see?
Hmm. I don't know. I'm looking at my husband. He's going to give me something that's not going to work for me. Um,
uh, are you so? I guess this is kind of like a personal question, but not really. Is what is your type of music style? Like, are you a very diverse person where you can listen to country, old school hip hop, new hip hop,
I can listen to most
cumbia,
music.
or anything, like, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, I can listen to most music. I mean, I like hip hop, like old school hip hop, old
yeah,
school rap.
yeah.
I like my Latin music. I like cumbia a little bit, but
Yeah. I just throw it out
my
because
my
my wife
husband likes
do it. So
likes music that I have no idea. He's really into, but I think it's a generational thing because he's 10 years younger than me. So,
yeah,
but I like those pop 40 hits that I'm not supposed to say I really like. like Taylor Swift. I actually like
Yeah.
her, but I love Nicki Minaj. So, you know,
I hear you. My wife, so this is kind of like, she's a little bit more diverse than I am, but this is, I'll explain to you. So she listens to country, we listen to country. I can kind of, okay, sure. Hip hop, rap, old school hip hop, old school rap, reggaeton, all the Latino musics like bachata, salsa, things like that. I listen to Afro beats. I have a select playlist on my phone about Afro beats. I listen to Jamaican music, to dance hall. I'm very diverse when it comes to music, and I love music. My wife would say she loves a little bit more music than I do, and I agree. She listens to punk. She listens to punk rock. We listen to like the 70s and 80s hits. That I got all from my stepfather. That was his favorite genre, so it sticks with you as you get older. Jose had to go. But I feel like there's definitely not just you and I that feel that way. I feel like a lot of people are very diverse. Well, they'll sit there and listen to Taylor Swift one day, and then they'll listen to Biggie the next. The one moment Taylor, the one moment Biggie, and then the next, whatever. And that'd be cool to even do maybe like a talent night.
right.
At one of on one of the events of like a music night, like local bands, local artists come and kind of display your craft, a talent night, and it could be anything. It could be, like I said, punk rock. It could be rock. It could be whatever, R&B, like bring R&B back. Like,
You say that with
R&B,
hesitation. Oh, okay. And so you said that with hesitation about the R&B.
No, I love R&B, and I mean like
okay.
real R&B, like 90s
Right.
R&B. I don't mean like this new R&B that they're trying to pass off. Jason is a great singer. Okay. There it is. We should have a day of music. Yeah, see, a music night.
Right.
Like a day of music.
And that would bring different people together because, I mean, when I looked at the list of the summer concert series for Hudson, I was just like, yeah, I just not feeling it.
Yeah.
And then you look at like the few families that go, it's either families with real little ones because you just need to get them outside and tired, or the old timers that really like that movie, that music.
Yeah.
So karaoke night. Oh,
I mean, I don't know if I can loosen the pipes like that, but
yeah.
But anything, it would honestly be great to see. It's just, maybe the younger generation doesn't feel the same way, like the kids in their like teens or in their early 20s. But it's all about making memories while you live in a certain town, in a certain community. And I feel like other than being with your friends and things like that, there's no sense of memory that I could pull from other than going to like football games for the Hudson Hawks and sometimes the Hudson Fest. Like I feel like there was nothing memorable.
No. See, that's not like, yeah, you don't want
Hudson, I went everywhere else. I went to the Puerto Rican Parade in Boston and stuff. Like I got my stuff. But like, we don't do that here. Like, you know what I mean?
But that's what I'm saying. We need to like
parade, right? I'm pretty sure there's like a Portuguese.
There's a Portuguese festival every year. Where I grew up out in Western Mass, there's a huge Portuguese community in Ludlow. Yeah, they have an annual fest, but in Ludlow, it's the whole town goes all out. And in here, it's kind of quiet and mellow and calm and like lights out by 8 p.m. And I was like, no, you gotta like really celebrate, like be happy. I feel like my husband's family is very what I consider Hudson. They're quiet and respectful, and we had a 4th of July party, and it was just mellow and quiet and just polite. And I was like, where are the fireworks? Where's the party? Where's the music? That's what we need for Hudson. And I think everybody in town would come along and like it.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. Wow, it's been an hour already. That's crazy. Yeah, see, like these shows every week in, week out, we talk and like just hours go by. I know it's getting late. I know that you had a certain amount of time. I just wanted to give you another 2 minutes. Anything that you'd like to let people know? The floor is yours.
Just keep your eyes and ears open for the Juneteenth event and get down and get involved in your town. And if there's anything you want me to start doing, let me know. and come and support me, and support your town. I don't know. That's it.
No, I definitely agree. Mercedes, it was it was an honor for us, honestly, to have you on. I love that you're able to advocate for the town. You're coming up with new ideas, and I feel like other people have probably had these ideas, but no one did anything. And you're actually making change. You're actually doing stuff about it. Like I said, this is personally for me. If you need any volunteers for next year or anything like that, please let me know. Reach out to me. I can give you my personal email, or you can just reach out to me on the messenger. I can, I can even give you my cell phone if you need a chat or as the time gets
Awesome.
closer, whatever. I'm totally down for that.
You'll make
I
the
can help
jollof
as
rice.
I've only made it like once, so I think we need to have someone that knows what
Okay.
they're doing.
Okay.
But I mean, yeah, any way that I'm able to help, I'd love to do that. Like I said, even though I don't live in Hudson anymore, I still want to see the town that I grew up in thrive. And even though I pass through it almost every day and stuff, I still like to see the change that's going on. But again, I want to thank you for joining us. I know it was a couple of weeks we were trying to get you on, scheduling and all that. But I'm so glad that you were able to join us. I want to wish you and your husband, I think you said is right next to you, a great night.
Yes, he's right here.
Thank you so much. Oh, hey. Nice to meet you. Thank you so much for joining us. I know Jose.
Thank you.
I think he had some technical difficulties or something.
Okay.
But
thank you for having me. This was wonderful.
Yeah, of course. If you ever want to be on again, or if there's any updates that you have regarding Juneteenth later down the line in a couple months or anything that you want to provide, let us know. We'll have you right back on.
All right. Sounds good.
Awesome.
This was awesome. Good. Thank you, Edwin.
You're welcome.
Bye.
Bye. All right. Again, I want to thank her so much for coming on and speaking about the Juneteenth and just her viewpoint, and as Jose would say, listening to her heart in this matter. And I'm flying solo right now because Michael, one, couldn't join or didn't join. And I think Jose's having some technical difficulties. But if there's anything that you guys want to talk about or anything you want me to talk about for the last 10 minutes, let me know. Otherwise, I'm kind of just going to ramble here. Please go out there, though, and vote when you can. Jose back.
Yo, my bad.
Please vote when you can. Go out to your town meetings. Listen to what's going on. If you want to see change, advocate for that change. Reach out to the certain people that you know that can make that change. Not just Sean. There's other selectmen, but reach out to your selectmen. I'm sure that they're all open ears, and there's probably a suggestion box or like an email that they used where if you were to flood their inbox with suggestions, they would take a look at it and get back to you. I know that's kind of what we did with Sean. Like, we talk to him about things all the time. She's going to do great things for Hudson. Yeah, she is. Or better yet, run. That's true. Not just vote. If you want to see change, run.
For sure. Accountability. I think that's one of the things that I kind of just kept playing at the end. That's the solution, right? Like, everybody needs to take accountability and do their part,
Yes.
And I mean, like, I think growth is one of the things that comes to mind, right? Like, it's we're grown-ups now. We're adults now. So, like, whatever we do, wherever we go, we play a role. And if you want to see change happen, like, it's on you now as an adult. It's on you as a parent. It's in you and getting involved in the school, activities or conversations. And the same thing with your town, and like you guys said, reach out to people or go to the meetings, join the conversation, and like you guys said, run. Because other than that, then I feel like nothing will change, or we'll just get stuck going in circles over the same thing.
Exactly. I completely agree.
And and I think this is more or less like speaking to our generation or to our classmates, to our parents now, our everybody that's an adult now, anybody that really, it's you have a say. So I mean,
Yes,
and it passes down to your kiddos too. You know, the kind of mindset or
Definitely
mentality, the kind of behavior, the kind of like community activism that you want to show in your household, and therefore, sort of like what kind of residents they'll be one day as they grow up. People who have a
agreed.
voice or not. So lead by example. Take the lead.
Definitely agreed. I do want to give y'all a little insight of what we might be doing on Saturday nights.
Oh,
We might be doing a podcast. Well, the same podcast, but we might be
well,
doing
I'll
like
say.
a music talent
Oh, yo, don't get me started right now.
night.
Don't get me
For anybody
started
that
right
wants
now.
to drop some bars on the mic
All right, let's
live, or we
let's
don't have to
what
do it live, but
yeah, whatever. I mean, it don't matter. But listen,
we
so
got the heat.
here's the pitch. I pitched this to Edwin because I feel like, yo, he's a DJ. He's a DJ Eddie C in the mix.
I'm not
Um,
a DJ for real, but
and
that's
I'm like,
okay.
yo, he'll be the host. He'll be the host because he got talent too. He can
I spit
hang.
bars. I
But I
spit bars.
feel like, it's more or less like not out of contest, right? But more out of like just to showcase your talent, to showcase your bars,
Yeah,
to showcase your storytelling, to showcase what you got, and and
if you
and to
will,
make it even more,
it's kind of a meet your neighbor.
special.
Yeah,
Yeah, to make it more special, I feel like there's a few people now that I feel like are from the town of Hudson, like, or that I feel like are from around, that we should be proud of for just chasing their dreams. Obviously within their own lane, within their own avenue of what they do. That's one thing. But as far as showcasing, we talk about Hudson and people to be proud of, or people who are chasing their dreams. Let's celebrate these talented folks. So I don't know. I feel like there's a few that I feel like I could mention. So I was thinking it would be like a fun time, where people just come on and do their thing. Are you there? No.
yeah, I'm right.
Yeah,
My bad. Um,
that's all good. It's all good.
no,
But
you're
yeah,
good. I
it's
was
more
just reading
it's more
something.
to celebrate people's talents. That's all
Yeah,
it is.
most definitely.
That's what I was thinking. Saturday night bars, all star
Saturday
nights.
night bars. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? And like
all
we do
star
all
night.
type of music.
Yeah,
OJ, why
yeah,
don't you drop
whatever.
a
Really.
beat real quick?
Oh, it's already playing in the back.
Oh, what? I'm still waiting on Money Mike 16.
No, he's
At
never
this
gonna
point,
show
at
up.
this
You know
point,
that
it's a
he's not gonna
32.
show up. But that's cool though. It's cool. It's cool
At this
because I
point,
get
I
it.
want a 32.
It happens.
At this point, I want a 32. He got shy. Come on,
I
B
think so.
Rabbit.
I was gonna say. I think he kind of got shook.
B
It's
Rabbit
cool
on the
though. It's
mic.
fine. It's fine. I don't blame him. I get it. What kind of beat do you want? There's some fire beats that I've been hearing.
Throw, throw whatever you want. Let's see. Let's see if we can. I know I need to have my guy Louis Lou on.
Oh, when is he coming on? Do you know?
William.
Oh,
When is my
yeah,
guy coming on?
yeah.
I want to say that he's going to be on next week. So I'll go
Eh,
ahead and promote him now, just so he knows. I'm gonna have my boy, my fam, basically my cousin, Luis Albino, to join us next week for our Thursday episode. And he's going to be talking to you a little bit about his hobby and what he loves to do. And, there might be some serious questions along the way, or there might be some playful questions along the way. But I just already told him he's going to get ready for that. And we're going to rock it how we do.
yes, sir. I'm excited for that conversation as a creator, and he's your family member, so that's pretty cool. And then just talk to him about his
We
journey
all
through that.
related in some sort of
Yo,
way.
I think Michael knows him from before. I don't
He
think I've
does.
ever met him, bro.
I think Mike knows him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
he used to hang
he's
around in
familiar with a
Hudson.
lot of people from like the back in the day, or like people that we know of.
Yeah, no, he used to hang around back in the day in Hudson. He's a little bit older than
Yeah.
us. just a little bit, but he's still a kid at heart like me, so don't matter. Just let him
Michael's not coming on,
know.
right?
No, I think he said he was gonna get home at 9:30, but I don't know. No sé, Papa. I know we only got
Yeah.
about 15 minutes, so we start.
Your thing is on. I mean, no, the
Oh, okay,
whichever
that's an
one.
old school rap. Okay.
What do you
Oh.
want?
Hmm. Oh, okay. I like that.
Come on, man.
Ooh. 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 How's that? I need you to throw the beat, throw the lyrics out.
What'd you say?
I need you to throw a little verse.
A verse?
Yeah. Hey.
I don't know, man. This is just like music to like listen and
Did
just
you listen to the thing that I sent you earlier?
yeah. I want to play it right now.
Ooh, you can play the beat if you want.
What beat is it?
I sent it to you in the thing, if I'm not mistaken.
Come on, man.
Give me 1 second, Papa. Alright, check your messenger. Dude, tell me that beat isn't fire though.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah,
I stumbled on
did
it and I
listen
was
to
like,
that one.
"Ooh, I need to do something with this. This is crazy."
All right, let me see. Oh, you're gonna throw your bars, right? Oh no! Hold on.
Which one? Wait, why'd you take it out?
Yeah, hold on. I forgot to do something.
You good, you good. What are you doing?
Hold on.
Don't
Oh,
be
you could
recording
hear.
me.
You could hear that. You could hear that.
No, I couldn't. And
No, that's what I
you
was saying.
removed it
I gotta do it the right way.
the right way, not the
Big.
wrong way, the right way.
No, I gotta hit a box to allow the sound to be
Oh,
heard.
okay. Okay. Yeah. You're right.
Does that make
On the thing
sense?
on the
So, like,
You're right.
if I don't do that, then it won't work.
You're right.
Come
You're
on, my
right.
man. You know I'm not trying to mess with you.
I think I have the same thing on my box. If I'm not mistaken, I just don't know which button it is.
Oh,
Oh, so
yeah.
William. Shout out to William. It's his birthday today. He's 20 years old.
Yo, happy
Little
birthday.
bro. He wouldn't mind me saying this, so I'm just gonna let y'all know.
Hey, Big E is
Um,
gonna sing.
Chuno. Hey, he's going to be releasing his EP very shortly in the next 2 weeks, if I'm not mistaken. I think he had said that he's looking at either an August 6th or 13th drop, something like that. And it's going to be called Veinte in Spanish. That's the type of music he does. You know what I mean? It's okay.
Yeah.
I do, a little bit of everything, but are we going to get the pleasure of hearing Big E sing? Hey, Big E!
Hey.
I like the name, but I can't take that. That's Big E's
Come on, man.
stage name. I can't take that. Yeah, no, I don't know. I have something in Spanish.
Just
So
throw
go
it.
ahead.
Yeah, just don't. Come on, man.
Hey,
You want me to put the beat down a little bit?
no, you're good. Turn it up, if anything.
Hey. Uh.
Hey. Okay.
You want me to start or not?
Oh, what?
Uh,
El profesor ha llegado a enseñarles cómo apago. Este tema de ustedes yo se los regalo. En la vida uno puede ser bueno o malo. Yo decido mi vida y de eso me agarro. Pero dime una cosa, ¿quién quiere jugar? Todos se aprovechan para poder fumar. A meterse en la calle y perderse matar. Yo te lo dije, bro. Como yo no somos... Oh, shit, I just lost my place.
hey,
Hey.
get it.
Yo te lo dije, bro, que no somos igual. Mejor estos chamaquitos que se se metan en la escuela a progresar, estudiar para que tengan vida buena. Todo es posible, solo aplica mucha fuerza. Soy profesor de la gente, bienvenido a mi manera.
Yo, fuego. Brr,
Nah, I need to do
fire,
that better. I
fire.
need to do that
Do
better.
it.
I
You
messed
can
up
do it
like
again.
15 times.
Yo, look it. We got haters in the house. So we got haters.
Gigante.
We got haters in the house. So
Oh, get this man on the stage.
yeah, this guy, crazy.
El pequeño gigante. Dale.
No, there's that Eddie C show, not me.
Nah, that's you too. What you mean? That's a fire
Nah,
beat though, right?
yeah, it is.
I got to do this professionally though. I'm gonna record that verse or whatever.
Do it up.
Crash that beat. Tell you for real.
I'll play it again for you.
Nah, I'm
Let,
done with that.
let's
No, I already messed up a few times.
come on, man.
Nah, I'm not in my zone right now.
What's the song then?
I gotta get in the zone. Okay, what?
I think you got too shy, bro. What happened?
No, honestly, I misplaced. I was scrolling and I missed my place.
That's what I was saying. You should have just restarted it.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
Hey,
Sir.
yo, where's Michael talking all the smack? He won't even show up, bro.
I'm saying all that smack.
And you know what I think too? You want to know what I think? Yo, y'all want to know what I think? I think that Michael had a ghostwriter too. Somebody wrote that
The
cloth.
washcloth?
Yeah, somebody wrote that for him. I don't.
Nah, you
I
can hear
think
that was Mike.
nah. Somebody wrote it for him though. That's what I know.
It was also 10, 12 years ago. You know what I mean? Like 13 years ago. Mike might just not have it no more.
You say he ain't got it like that no more.
I
Is that
think he lost it. I think he lost it. I don't think he had it to begin with, but
hey,
he don't have it. Because he's clearly watching the show, but just not coming on. Dude, you're late.
Come on, man.
You're extremely late now. You're an hour and 21 minutes late. Now you're Mr. Lateness. You have taken that title from Jose.
Yo, I think you don't want to show up no more.
Yeah, exactly. He's Mr. No Show. Well, that was my verse for my beat.
For serious music.
You gotta do a Spanish one.
That beat? Oh, by Darko. Shout out to my brother's producer.
That's right. He dropped this today.
Song, Papa.
No.
You sure? I'm pretty sure.
Hey, see?
Good night, Sean. Have a great night.
Good night.
Okay. I could mess with this beat. Alright.
All right. Check this one out. That one's fire. Michael thinks about it too much. Come on, man. This one's dope. You know, we didn't talk.
Well, I don't know. I'm pretty sure if you give me like an hour, I could write something for this.
You know what I was gonna say is that we didn't talk about that block party that we're gonna have soon with Sean and all them. If it's gonna happen, I mean, if it's not all just talk.
Ella quiere bailar, solo toda la noche yo puedo gustar. Yeah. I don't know. I have that type of talent, I think, where I could listen to the beat for about 20 minutes and then, or like 2 minutes, honestly, and then I'll have you something. I'll have something written for you in an hour.
So you wrote something already, is what you're saying?
No, because it says it's been an hour. I got 2 lines for you.
Oh.
I just got 2 lines for you. Where it says, "Don't talk too much, because I don't want to hear it." That's a cool little thing though. I would love to do like a Spanglish thing to that. You know what I mean?
Which one? The other beat?
Too much? Yeah, I would do like a Spanish English, like some of the verse in Spanish, some of the verse in English.
Hey. Are we gonna go all the way to the 130?
Yeah, I think so. 5 more minutes. 1 more minute.
All right.
Oh, I got a nice hook for this song. Ella es mi medicina.
Just music sessions, you know.
Huh?
Just music sessions. What are you doing this weekend?
I don't know. This weekend, probably not much.
Hey, so maybe you're gonna send me some stickers or no?
Oh, yeah. Send me your address. I can mail them to you.
Yeah. Did Michael pick up his?
Yes, he did.
Nice.
Yes, sir. Yeah, I never seen.
So what are you doing this weekend, you said?
Probably doing the live.
Doing the what?
The live music sesh.
With who?
You jumping on this weekend? Hey, coño.
What time? What time? What time do you think that it'll work?
I don't know, probably like 9 or 10. What time works for you?
Yeah, that's a good time. I know Michael doesn't want to step up to the plate, but that's cool. Yo, what kind of beat do you want?
Huh?
What kind of beat?
Because we got literally a minute left, so I'm gonna go ahead and close it out.
Okay. Yeah. Yo, peace out, everybody. We'll see you soon.
See you next week.